Hello and welcome to this month's Picture of Health. I'm your host, Lauren Lengyel. Today we're focusing on Polk Vision, a broad community-led partnership of organizations, businesses, government, and individuals working together to address different issues across Polk County. I'm joined in studio by Kim Long, the Executive Director of Polk Vision, and Colleen Mangan from the Florida Department of Health in Polk County. Ladies, welcome. I am so glad to have you both here.
Well, thank you. We're glad to be here.
So, we've got a lot of things to talk about. Polk Vision is obviously not a one sentence and be done with it organization. So, before we get into that, why don't you're the new director of Polk Vision, correct?
Correct.
How are you enjoying it so far?
I love it.
That's fantastic.
I can't say any more than that because it's too big a feeling to put into more words than that, but it is absolutely the most joyous job I've ever had in my career.
Well, I certainly hope it continues to be.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Colleen, how are you involved with Polk Vision?
Sure. I'm with the Florida Department of Health, and I serve as our Community Health Improvement Planner. And so, yes, it's quite a title, I know. And our agency has partnered with Polk Vision for a number of years, and the most recent effort that we have worked on is what we would consider our Community Health Improvement Plan. We've worked with Polk Vision to look at how we can reduce obesity rates in Polk County. And so I've been able to serve as a liaison and a loaned officer, so to speak, to help the teams that are working on how they can reduce the obesity rates in Polk.
And that would be the Building a Healthier Polk initiative, which was actually born of one of our pillars. It was born out of quality of life. At the time, going back some years now, I was a volunteer at the time, and I was chairing the Quality of Life Committee. We became acquainted at that time, and there was a need to address the obesity issue. And with the assistance and guidance from the team that was led through Colleen's side of things, we were able to galvanize across public and private initiatives, and Building a Healthier Polk is now in its 4th year, right? We just had a report out after 3 years. She can speak to the process much better than I, but we currently have 3 active teams under the auspices of Building a Healthier Polk that are running. One is school-focused, school health. The other is worksite wellness. And the last is primary care.
Well, you just get to hang out with her and have fun all day? Is that how it works?
We see each other monthly.
So you're going to have to back it up for me a little bit. Though I am a resident of Polk County, I am sad to say that I don't know as much about Polk Vision as I probably should. So can you break that down for me and kind of tell me what the heck Polk Vision is and what do you all do?
Polk Vision is a collective impact organization, and by that we believe that we can do better together than separately. Back in 2004, visionaries from across Polk County, business leaders and organizations came together, and a series of town hall meetings was held across the county. Several hundred individuals were polled, both in person and in writing, and from that a visioning document was born. There are 6 pillars of interest. From that, that's the foundation for everything we do. It includes education, infrastructure, government, quality of life, which is where the healthcare initiatives come from. Civic engagement is also part of what we look into. So that means that we want citizens to be actively engaged and involved, and we challenge them not only to discuss, but to become part of the change.
So your mission isn't necessarily centered around healthcare or the health of an individual. It's really what makes a healthy community and working on those components to make sure that it's thriving and vital in Polk County.
Yes. So I would say the health of the community certainly speaks to the physical health, but I think we're talking about the cultural health, the mental health, the spiritual health, of the community. So it makes sense for us to be here today, particularly with the health department being such a strong partner. But we are seeking a vibrant community where all participants have an equal voice, and that we're engaged across all four corners of the community addressing issues that are pertinent to not just leadership, but to the individuals in each of the communities.
So can we take one of those areas and kind of tell us a little bit about how, I assume it's made up of a committee of residents. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about that and how they work to bring about change.
Well, Building a Healthier Polk probably is our most evolved committee. It was our first most structured committee. So I think it would be a great template for us to discuss today to bring that into focus.
So Building a Healthier Polk, when we, the health department, when we came and had a conversation with the Quality of Life group and said, we have all this information about the health of our community. What can we do? What should we do? Where should we start on improving health? It's kind of a big task. So the Quality of Life group, and as Kim said at the time, it was led by Kim as a volunteer for the organization. They looked over an assessment we conducted across the community, and they were able to determine that, okay, we have a lot of risk factors and things that are going on within the health of our community that obesity is related to, or that obesity affects: high diabetes rates, high hypertension rates, and then not to mention just the weight was an indicator that was a concern. So the group began looking into how we might intervene, and this group was the Quality of Life group. So it was representative at the time of a Quality of Life's just has so much within it. It has arts and culture, it has parks and recreation, safe housing, health, and so on. I mean, think of Quality of Life, it could have so many things in it. Right. And so they were wonderful in pulling out the health piece of this, and then those experts from those areas, and with the strength and the reach of Polk Vision, were able to invite a number of professionals from throughout the community to a forum that we held in 2012. And some who know about Building a Healthier Polk and the efforts with Polk Vision know that around that time, the Winter Haven, Lakeland Metropolitan Service Area, so Polk County, really, was designated the 7th most obese county in the nation. And so we were quite motivated to do something about it, as you can imagine. And the group decided to hold a forum, invited a cross-section of professionals, again, from across the community. For us as a health department, one of the most wonderful things about connecting with Polk Vision is that they are connected to such a broad scope of the community. We had great health partners. They brought in a more broad audience of individuals that could look at this topic and address the issue. And so when they came to this forum, we had hospitals represented, healthcare organizations, school board staff that work with physical activity, nutrition, nutritionists in the outside realm, pediatricians, city and county planners, government. I mean, we just had a great group of individuals that came and ranked, okay, how could we work on this topic in our community? And so the group, many from that group stayed on and helped us craft our strategies. The initiative began to move forward under 6 strategies. To run down through those 6 strategies, we had primary care, we had school health, work site wellness, higher education, so what's happening in our colleges, a community-based effort, and an overall communication strategy so we could tell the community what we were doing and even internally communicate with one another. And those groups worked to create a plan and are still and worked throughout the 3 years together as Building a Healthier Polk.
So you've finished that 3 years. You're going into your 4th. What do you expect out of this year?
We have, let Kim say what she's expecting, but I will say this, that the 6 strategies, when we reviewed our work of 3 years, they decided we're not done. We have a lot more work to do. We know we didn't get in this condition overnight, and it was going to take a while for us to stay on board. At the beginning of the initiative, we didn't ask people to commit to 10, 15, 20 years. We just wanted to start something and see where we were able to go and where we were able to make a difference. Now we have committed partners who want to stay on board. And so those 6 strategies decided to move on as 3 teams within Polk Vision. And that's where Kim said they're working as with primary care, and a lot of their efforts right now are with pediatricians and pediatric offices in that setting, and then our school age group, and they're working within and outside of school partners looking at school health, and then worksite wellness is continuing, and they were a really strong group led by Polk wellness professionals, and they have brought in with them the higher education effort. So our upcoming workforce is now working with our current workforce to improve wellness offerings in the community. And one of the great things about Polk Vision is there's an infrastructure team that's been working for years on different ways that we can improve roads, that we can improve sidewalks, that we could look at water. They have that handled. And our community-based group was encouraging cities and the county to look at ways that they could improve the built environment. Do we have sidewalks that are safe to get us from one place to another? Are the parks lighted? Are they cleaned? So on and so forth. And they did a great job of encouraging our cities to continue those efforts, to make the healthy choice the easy choice, and when you get out and get active. But we paused and realized that the infrastructure team was about to move forward with a strong effort in sidewalks. And so our community-based strategy and our community-based the folks that were engaged in that, our planners and so on, said, well, let's partner with this team. Let's not duplicate our efforts. Let's work with them. And so Building a Healthier Polk as an initiative has really immersed and enmeshed and become a part of this broad scope of teams that Polk Vision now has. And Kim can talk more about it, but we have how many teams now? 12 teams.
12 active teams.
So we're 3 now
Wow.
of 12 teams working on everything from health to economic development, government, and so on.
Back to what you were saying, some of the sidewalk initiatives and the things that you're doing, that's something you don't think about. You don't think about,
Right.
hey, what does a sidewalk or a clean park have to do with being healthy? Well, if a park's dirty and filthy, I'm not bringing
or if it's unsafe, if you're unable to get there, or if a child cannot walk to school, if because there is not contiguous sidewalks or safe walking environment, if it's not adequately lit. These are infrastructure issues that people banding together can bring focus to. And we're delighted to have on the infrastructure team, for example, planners from cities across the county as well as county planners. And they're taking a real hard look right now because we're all interested in education and the health and wellness of our student body. They're looking specifically at sidewalks within a 2-mile radius of public schools, which fits beautifully with some initiatives with Building a Healthier Polk, because we all know that activity prior to school, even if it's just a short walk, will keep your brain and your body moving, and you're better able to be ready for school if you have modest physical activity before sitting at your class desk.
Okay, well, we need to take a break. When we come back, you're going to tell us more about what you envision for this 4th year of Building a Healthier Polk. And so we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to learn a nutrition tip from Whitney Fung. We'll be right back with more Kim Long and Colleen Mangan.
My name is Whitney Fung, and I work for the University of Florida IFAS Extension Service and the Board of County Commissioners Indigent Healthcare Division. We're back on the 10 tips on eating healthy, and today we're on tip number 8, foods to eat less often. Before we start talking about all those things, I do want to talk about My Plate and remind you all of My Plate and the dietary guidelines. We've talked a lot about My Plate, and I'm sure you're familiar with this by now. Even when you're eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you're looking down at your plate and you're really asking yourself, are you eating a My Plate meal? So don't forget, think of me when we eat that My Plate meal, those 2 messages of portion controlling and then eating all 5 food groups every single day. So check out choosemyplate.gov if you haven't already. All right, so we're gonna start today on foods to eat less often. And so here behind me, we have a makeshift pantry, which is kind of fun, but an easy way to kind of go with what foods do we eat more often or what foods do we eat less often is following something called Go, Slow, and Whoa foods. So Go foods, green foods, slow, yellow foods, and then Whoa foods, red foods. And so we want to start thinking about what type of food you want to eat more of, and then what to just cut back on. And that might be your sugary treats, ice cream, candy, Snicker, my favorite's the Snicker bar, so I love that. I mean, I drink regular soda, but everything in moderation. So maybe saving those things for a special occasion. So start thinking about those. What do you want to cut back on and eat less often? Now, I don't want to make you unhappy. You can still have those foods, but trying to incorporate a little bit more healthy foods in your pantry and in your home as well. So we're going to start first with this Go foods. Go foods, we've talked about foods to eat more often, but take a moment and browse the top shelf of Go foods. So a lot of those wholesome foods, your fruits, your vegetables, your whole grains, and your low-fat dairy, fresh, frozen, and canned are all fine, but we want to focus on those wholesome foods. And so those things are all good. And then also thinking about calories, not consuming too many calories as well. So let's go ahead and browse the second shelf, which are your slow foods, so your yellow foods. And you'll see, you might even wonder, why is orange juice on there, or even this baby vegetable medley? So think about it. Why might it be a slow food? Well, one thing is that the baby vegetable medley, it's a frozen food, and so frozen food, we'll talk about sodium for tip number 9, but your frozen foods sometimes have a lot of seasonings that are packed with preservatives. So an easy way to change from a slow food to a Go food is to buy plain frozen vegetables with no sauce. Doesn't mean you can't add a little bit of butter. You can add garlic, you can add lemon juice, or you can add spices. You can season it up, but at least you can control the amount that's in there. So from that baby vegetable medley, you can move it up by choosing a plain frozen vegetable instead. And the orange juice, you want to choose 100% orange juice, but fruits have a lot of sugar as well. So you want to make sure you have that, but then, if you're sitting in front of the TV and you're drinking a whole, cup and then 2 cups in the whole gallon, that might be a little bit too much. So again, think of your calories. So we're going to move on to the third shelf, which are our Whoa foods. So that's the idea really, is here, foods to eat less often. And I don't want to take your brownies away. I don't want to take your ice cream away or your Oreos, but look at this one. It's reduced fat Oreos. How can we make those Whoa foods into special occasions, but then maybe even make it a little bit healthier? So it could be reduced fat Oreos, or instead of eating 6 cookies, you can eat 3 cookies instead. So Snickers, soda, whatever it is, everything in moderation. And so the tip for the dietary guidelines is foods to eat less often is really looking at things that the American diet consumes too much of. And those are our sugars, our fats, and our salts. So too much sugar can lead to weight gain. So think of the sodas, your sweet tea, how can we mix it, unsweet and sweet tea together? Your fats, high fat diet will contribute to high cholesterol, leading an increased risk for heart disease. So not too much fat if possible, so reduce fat Oreos if you can. And then the third one is sodium. So making sure you watch how much sodium you eat, and then not even how much you eat, but what's already in the food itself when you go out to the restaurant. So go in your pantry, go in your kitchen, and see what you can do to make over and choose foods to eat less often, and then how do we make it a little bit more healthy. That's all we have for today. Feel free to contact us at the Extension office if you have any questions. Thanks for being with us today.
I'm doing my part. Are you doing yours?
Welcome back. In case you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Kim Long, the Executive Director of Polk Vision, and Colleen Mangan from the Florida Department of Health. Guys, so we were talking about the Building a Healthier Polk initiative, and you were just about to tell us what you expected out of this 4th year of Building a Healthier Polk.
We are a collective impact organization, and we provide guidance and structure and a voice, but all of our teams are really of the people. So it wouldn't be expectations set by Polk Vision. It would be expectations set collectively by the groups participating in Building a Healthier Polk.
Let me rephrase.
Okay.
What would you love to see come out of this 4th year, knowing that it's really all about the initiative, but what are some things that you know that are in the works that you really would like to see completed?
The continued great work, particularly as it intersects with worksite wellness, improving opportunities for, actually we just received a grant for worksite wellness. So we received an influx of funding that will enable us to up our game with businesses across the county. So I expect that we'll be able to double down our efforts with worksite wellness. School health, as we all know, is essential to improving education. And we lead with education. Part of our leadership group is, we have 3 active leadership teams that are working on school initiatives. So as these other groups intersect, infrastructure with sidewalks, broadband with equal and inexpensive access to the entire breadth of school system across Polk County, the wellness teams, and also the school initiative teams. We just want to see continued galvanization, continued tasks being accomplished, and then getting the measurements in play so that we can benchmark ourselves at the 3 to 5 year mark and then establish our 10-year goals.
Is there anything that Polk Vision is doing to sort of assist with keeping services from being duplicated that would, services that would further your vision and mission? Well,
that our very existence is to make certain that there is a central location, a central voice. We invite participation from across the county, and we find a duplication of efforts would be a waste. So that's why we're so broadly known, and that's why we cast our net so broadly. For example, a bright idea that might be percolating up in Davenport is the same bright idea that might be percolating down in Fort Meade or Lakeland or Auburndale. So that's why we reach out to service organizations, individuals, the public and private sector, and invite them to participate in the process. We exist so that all efforts can be recognized, and we have a forum and we have a place to collect them. And just as I said, Davenport, Fort Meade, Auburndale, wherever the idea comes from, we provide an opportunity for collaborative conversation and solution gathering.
So if someone wanted to get involved with Polk Vision, how would that work?
At this point, because we have active teams running, anyone who is interested in joining a team, if they want to learn more about the team, who might be participating on the team and the current team initiative, they can visit our website, which is polkvision.com. There's public pages that they can visit. If they're interested in joining a team, all they have to do is contact our offices, and we will establish an opportunity for orientation. Walking in cold, it would be difficult to become immediately participative because each week or each month we move a certain task along. And these meetings are usually an hour to an hour and a half in length, but we would arrange it for an orientation, and then someone could join the team.
Where's the Polk Vision office located?
Our office is located in Lakeland, but really we're not of the Lakeland community, we're of the Polk County community. We rarely have meetings at our offices. We meet regularly across the county, everywhere from Bartow to Winter Haven to Lakeland to Auburndale. We purposefully go out into the community and establish ourselves as a presence in community rooms, and with organizations so that we continue to remain out into the community and accessible to community members.
Kim, I want to tap into your human side for a second. Can you share personally what it is about Polk Vision that really makes you committed to it the way that you seem to be?
I think what drives me every day is the opportunity to address issues in a meaningful way, collaborate with other concerned individuals, and the fact that we have this measurement tool in place. We're going from mere conversation to actual meaningful engagement and measurement. The fact that we have a vibrant community, we have a lot of smart, articulate, dedicated individuals all pulling together in the same direction, and regardless of whether they have a specific concern in their municipality, they're willing to take that hat off when they walk into a Polk Vision room and they think about the community as a whole, not geographically bound by their particular municipality. And whether it's education or sidewalks or community health, we get the brain trust of the entire community at play. And measurement is key. Are we relevant? Are we meaningful? Can we continue to make a difference in the community? And I believe we can and are each and every day we convene.
So, Colleen,
Yes.
how has being a part of the work that Polk Vision does, how has that impacted your life?
Wow. It's been such a privilege. The initiative was starting as I was moving over at the health department into community health and planning, and I have been able to interact. I think Kim alluded to some of this. There are such quality individuals having purposeful conversations and looking to have meaningful impact on our community. It's inspiring. It's absolutely inspiring to be able to sit in and be a part of those conversations and really look to make a difference and an impact. It's great to be able to step outside of just my health silo, so to speak, and engage with other partners that and find where our passions or our professional passions intersect. So I never thought that I would connect so well with the city planner who is passionate about the parks and our sidewalks, getting people healthy and happy. I had no idea that I would find excitement in their efforts. And there are other examples I could go on, with the school district or with, of course, different, health professions as well. But it's been really great to find connection points and to look for areas where what I do aligns across the county. I feel a part of something bigger than myself, certainly, and we all want that. But this opportunity to get in and engage with these folks and these professionals who are quality individuals has grown me as a professional. I'm still, looking to develop who I am and where I'm going, and I hope I've, been able to help others as well. So
And that's really the whole point. That's the whole point of the visioning process and alignment is to collaborate, because we know collectively, we're strong and we can move issues forward.
Thank you both so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's been a great time.
Thank you for providing us with this time.
Absolutely. You can catch replays of this episode on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can also catch all of our previous episodes on the Polk Government YouTube page. I'm your host, Lauren Lengyel. Thank you for joining me on this month's Picture of Health.